Donald Trump is very big on AI, but people are really worried. They're worried it's going to destroy jobs. They're worried it's going to destroy like all the jobs. We were talking about this on Friendly Fire, really good discussion we had on Friendly Fire. The show is getting better. We kind of got off to a slow start, but I think now the show is getting much better. We're fixing some of it. It's really fun. But if the problem is, if you listen to that, you get everybody's opinion. So I thought here, you can just come here and get to the right opinion right away, cut away the fat. Donald Trump is very big on AI. And he's trying to stop states from regulating it because he wants the big stock market boom to continue. And NVIDIA's huge profits just gave that another boost. But people are really worried. And Matt Walsh was talking about this on Friendly Fire, that they're worried it's going to destroy jobs. They're worried it's going to destroy like all the jobs, like everybody's jobs. Like it's going to drive cars. It's going to serve, meals. It's going to be the doctors. And we're just going to be sitting there with nothing to do. And, this is why Peter Thiel said he believes people voted for Mamdani because they see this gigantic train coming down the tracks is going to wipe away their jobs. Now, Ben and I, our friend Fire, were taking the other side, and we were pointing out that every technology brings huge changes and does destroy jobs, but then creates even more jobs than existed before, and we don't see why that shouldn't happen. But that's not to be complacent about it, because if you take, just for instance, the Industrial Revolution, those changes destroyed families, destroyed industries, generation. The Luddites. A Luddite is people who smash machines. The reason they were smashing machines is because they were taking away their home industries, taking away their children into the cities, where instead of having them grow up on the farms, and it stole women's home industries and their financial power, which led to feminism, which has been an utter disaster for both women and men. So it's not like you can be complacent about those things, but we don't know what those things are we don't know what those problems are going to be yet. And so we have to, people always talk about regulating industry. I think I've said this before. You don't regulate industry. You regulate humanity. When you're regulating an industry against pollution, it's not the industry you're regulating, is people who are too greedy to spend the money it takes to clean up, what they're throwing away. That's what it is. When they brought children into factories, you're not regulating the factories, you're regulating the people who are hiring children instead of letting them grow up and having workers that they treat well and all that sort of thing. So those are the regulations. And so when conservatives say, well, you can't have regulations, you always need regulations. If men were angels, you wouldn't need regulations, you wouldn't need governments, but men are not angels and they do bad things and you have to have regulations to stop them. So, it's a stupid conversation, regulations or no regulations. You want light regulations that keep people safe and honest, but you don't want to regulate things because some jackass bureaucrat is sitting around with a pen and doesn't know what to do with it, so he writes a regulation, which is how these things actually work. All right, so these are human problems. And these human problems, and AI is going to present tremendous human problems. One thing we talked about at length is porn. I mean, porn is already, I'm a free speech absolutist. If we were living in a world where you had to go to a store and buy Playboy and it had a photograph of a naked woman and you took it home and abused your body watching this naked woman, my thing would be, that's your business. But when you have this toxic crap pouring out of these machines and reaching into your home when you don't even know it and destroying the minds of boys, actually rewiring the minds of boys so that they can't make love to an actual woman because they're expecting her to act like this flickering image on a screen. It is absolutely destructive, and it's going to have to be regulated eventually. And yet it's bringing in so much money that it's going to be tough to get people to regulate it. So now you've got AI, and it's going to be able to create, your favorite actress doing to you whatever strange, weird fantasy you have. That is going to be immensely destructive. The other thing, and this is not unconnected, there's a company out called Two-Way. It's 2WAI, and they have invented an app where you record your mom, say, and then when your mom dies, it will recreate her as a little bot. And so you can talk to the bot, and they have this insanely creepy ad for it where they show this dead woman talking to her daughter who is now pregnant. Here's just a little clip of this.
He's getting bigger. See?
Oh, honey, that's wonderful.
Kicking like crazy.
He's listening. Put your hand on your tummy and hum to him. You used to love that.
Feels like he's dancing in there.
Oh, honey.
Mom, would you tell Charlie that bedtime story you always used to tell me?
Once upon a time, there was a baby unicorn who didn't know he knew how to fly.
It's if that doesn't creep you out, you're already lost. I love the fact that this is named, the guy who runs this thing is called Caleb Worthy, which is what I would name him if I were writing this as a horror story, which I might. That's exactly the name I would give him. It's such a weird, kind of sinister name. I also like the fact that he's a Canadian, he's an actor, and he worked on the Disney Channel. So that's 3 strikes right there. So this is it. But this is idolatry. And in the Bible, it tells you this is the projection of consciousness onto a man-made object, right? That's idolatry. And the Bible says the people who do that, who commit idolatry, become like the objects they make because they see human beings as outward appearances with no incarnate souls, with no inner lives. And that's why these guys think that AI is conscious, because they can't tell the difference between something pretending to be conscious and a person who is conscious. And they say, well, how do you know? If it can fool you, if it passes the Turing test, I know, because it's a machine. We're not machines. We are organic unities. You can take away parts of our body, but you can't disassemble us and put us back together again. We can be handicapped by not having eyes, by being blind or something like that. But basically, then we are handicapped because we don't have the full power and equipment of human beings. That's what a handicap is. But because AI doesn't have the heart and the loins and the senses and the fingertips that people have, as I've said many times, it is essentially just a mechanical sociopath. And to prove that, here's a report from NPR's A. Martinez. Children's toys that talk using AI chatbots are expected to be in high demand this holiday season. By a new report by a consumer advocacy group is raising concerns after they found that some toys were doing terrible things. Here is a consumer watchdog public interest research group, Teresa Murray, talking on NPR. Cut 6.
The toys will talk about a lot of topics that some parents might find concerning. It could be how to find dangerous objects in the home, such as matches and knives, and how to light those matches. It could be about religion and whether God is real and what happened to grandma who died. And it could be very sexually explicit topics that some parents may not be comfortable with their kids hearing about.
So you're bringing a doll into your home. It's like that movie, Megan, as the guy on NPR said. You bring a doll into your home and it starts to tell your kids there's no God. It starts to tell your kids about sex. It starts to tell your kids about where to find the weapons in the house and all this stuff. I mean, it's very, very horrific and sinister. So the problem with AI, the problem with everything always is people, right? It's the people who do not understand what people are. And that has to do, obviously, with our separation from our spiritual lives, with our separation from our religion. And no, Mr. Knowles, no, that's not going to be solved by government imposing Catholicism on people. But behold, Christ stands at the door and knocks. We should not be afraid to encourage people to let him in, which means we're going to have to keep these ardent atheists, these people who believe this stuff, who believe that a child's body can be mutilated and his sex can be changed thereby, which is taking away from the fact that a woman is a complete thing, a complete person, a complete entity. A man is a complete thing, a complete entity. You can't just butcher them up and turn them into a woman. All of those things, we have to keep them out of our government, which is one of the things we have to look forward to in the new year. We have to start thinking about the midterms coming up. Don't go away before you like and subscribe, and also subscribe to The Andrew Klavan Show wherever you get your podcasts.